Hi everyone, my name is Stephanie Puckett and I will be doing a movie and a lecture. My chapter is Chapter 11, Communication Climate. What we're going to be talking about first is what is communication climate. Communication climate refers to the social tone of a relationship. A good example of this would be when you feel comfortable in one teacher's classroom instead of another. For example, if you felt more comfortable with your math teacher, you would feel more comfortable doing your homework, speaking out in class, asking questions, while maybe in your history class, you don't feel comfortable getting up in class, asking questions because of the cold relationship you have or the cold mood. I thought that the movie Mean Girls would be a good example of this chapter because it shows mostly all the key concepts that this chapter offers. The first concept is disagreeing messages. The first key concept is aggressiveness, the tendency to attack the self-concepts of other people in order to inflict psychological pain. In this movie is about a girl named Katie Heron. She is a teenage girl who just moved from Africa with her parents and starts a new school. She becomes friends with some art nerds, as they call themselves, when approached by the queen bees of the school, Regina George, Gretchen Wieners, and Karen Smith. They are called the Plastics. Her art friends get the idea of getting Katie to join their group so she can tell them all the awful things they say about the people behind their backs. During the movie, she falls for the queen bee's ex-boyfriend, Aaron Samuels. During the movie, she starts to like being part of the popular crowd and starts to get more comfortable with Aaron. But when Regina finds out she gets back with Aaron and taunts it in front of Katie's face, she wants revenge and starts trying to destroy Regina's perfect world. But while doing that, she starts messing up her own friendships in the progress. In this, we see aggressiveness. We see aggressiveness throughout the whole entire movie, but a good example would be when Katie sends herself Valentine's Day cards with Regina's name on it, so it seemed as if Regina had only sent Katie cards to make Gretchen jealous and feel as though she's no longer close to Regina. Here we see aggressiveness towards Gretchen because Katie wants to make her feel bad. Another factor would be complaining. Communicators use this when they are not prepared to argue but want to register dissatisfaction. A good example would be when Regina complains about being fat in her prom dress. Although she is not fat, she seems herself to be unfit, and meanwhile complains about being fat. Another key concept is impervious response, which fails to acknowledge the other person's communicative attempt. Here in the movie, we see this when Katie ignores her parents speaking to her about how she should act in the house while they're away. While she ignores them while her mother is speaking very important terms of rules, you can see that her mother is dissatisfied and upset that her daughter is ignoring her while speaking about something very important to her. Interrupting response. When one person begins to speak before the other is finished. We see this a lot, and one example would be when Katie interrupts Aaron when he tries to tell her that she has turned into a mean girl just like Regina. We use interrupting responses when we do not want to let the others finish their point. We tend to interrupt them so we can get across a new direction of conversation. In the next concept, we have disagreeing messages, and this includes tangential response, which acknowledges the other person's communication but used to steer the conversation in a new direction. We can see this in the movie by when studying together, Katie tells Aaron to break up with Regina because she was cheating on him. She talks bad about Regina and changes the conversation to what he should do. So this starts off with them studying for math together while she mentions how good of a person Aaron is and how bad of a person Regina is. She switches the conversation to talk about how Regina does not deserve Aaron. This then changes her to then telling Aaron that Regina is cheating on him, implying that he should break up with her. The next concept is defensiveness. And defensiveness is protecting yourself from attack. Here, Katie had a party and did not invite her art friends and only invited the popular kids. Janice gets upset at Katie, saying that it was rude of her to not invite them to the party or show up to her art show. That was very important to her. Katie is defensive and tells Janice to not make a big deal and to stop fighting because she is in love with her. Janice begins to become defensive, saying that she could never be in love with a person like her because she is a mean girl. They both show defensiveness in this scene while arguing. The next concept is climate patterns. This includes spiral. In spiral is confrontative acts are likely to trigger an aggressive response, or vice versa. Spirals can be either positive or negative. A spiral showed in the movie is how Regina created a burn book, which involved scrapbook pages of mostly all the students and bad things and rumors written about them. She framed her burn book on her friends, and to stir up chaos, she printed the pages out and sent them all over the school like flyers. When people noticed them all around, they were frustrated on who wrote what about who. This sent out all the students into a fighting frenzy. A positive spiral would be when the principal and teachers forced the students to be together in the gymnasium and for all of them to share their feelings and to let it out. This let everyone share what they felt. The next concept is superiority versus equality. Superiority is defensive climate when you compare yourself with others. This is shown all throughout the movies because this movie is based on a group of girls who believe that they are better than others. This shows a social clique within the school. Within the plastics, they believe they are better than the whole entire student body. Regina George shows superiority within her own group by also believing that she is better and she's always calling the shots. The next concept is invitational communication. Invitational communication is an approach that welcomes others to see your point of view and freely share their own. In the beginning of the movie, when Katie is welcomed by her new friends, they sit down with her to share their opinions on school and people. Janice and Damien are open and accepting to Katie's opinions. This also shows at the very end of the movie where everything has calmed down and the drama has been solved. The plastics and everyone else begins to become more open and comfortable with others and their own opinions. Instead of being separated into social cliques, they're all together and no cliques are formed. There are no more fights, and Regina even branches out with other groups and joins the lacrosse team, something she would never done before. And this is the end of Movie with a Lecture. Thank you.